Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at a line of ships, well, the first one in a line of ships, that I've actually featured quite a while back. The thing is, I did that in a slightly different manner because I was playing to get the Des Moines, and I was doing it on my personal account. So what you would always be getting was a first impression of these ships, which means I'd probably I would have to check. I've actually got a counter on my videos. I think I'm at 680 World of Warships Blitz videos at this point. So fair amount. Anyway, this is a bit of an oddball. This is the Grey Lady, the USS Pensacola. And yeah, the Pensacola existed, obviously, but the Pensacola was a bit of a weird design. Well, first of all, the Pensacola originally was classified as a light cruiser, despite her actually having 200mm or 8-inch guns, whereas the normal light cruiser armament were the 152mm or 6-inch guns. Once in the London Naval Treaty the whole cruiser classification by gun caliber became a thing, she was reclassified as a heavy cruiser. Why was she initially classified as a light cruiser? Well, very much in the sense of the word, because she was a treaty cruiser and as such couldn't exceed or shouldn't exceed a limit of 10,000 tons displacement. Which, given that they had put in some odd design choices, was a bit of a problem. They had given her 2 twin gun turrets and 2 triple gun turrets. Strangely enough, the heavier triple turrets were actually super firing over the twin turrets. And after they had put all that in, they realized they didn't have any displacement left for any armor. So they didn't put any. Well, they put a little bit, but basically the exact same armor that you would have found in a light cruiser of the period. And that's why she was classified as a light cruiser at the beginning, but then reclassified as a heavy cruiser. Also, having the turrets that high in the superstructure, especially having the heavy turrets super firing over the lighter ones, hasn't done her any favors in terms of stability. So there had to be some adjustments made over time. That said, being a relatively poorly armored cruiser hasn't stopped her from becoming a very, very successful ship throughout the war. She has been in pretty much every major operation all the way up to the end. And the surrender in Japan. And after the war, well, she, and as many other ships at the time, was pulled towards the Bikini Atoll as a target for Operation Crossroads. So she had a nuke dropped on her. And not just one, 2. She got nuked twice, but she was still afloat. So, in amazement, she was brought back to the US to be studied for, well, why the heck did this thing not sink, and also how much radiation was on there. And then she was, for reals this time, actually scuttled and sunk off the coast of the US. But yeah, it just goes to show that just because your ship design might be a little bit of an oddball doesn't mean that your ship can't be hugely successful. So, the Pensacola. Let's have a quick look at the tech tree, because this is where the tech tree splits. This is a ship from the original line. This has been there from the very beginning of the game. The line starting here, splitting here at tier 6, going down Dallas, Brooklyn, Cleveland, has been added later. The original line was the destroyer line, the cruiser line, and the battleship line towards the Montana. And the Omaha at tier 5 is very, very much a light cruiser, if not even an oversized destroyer if you wanted. And the last ship in the line that did get torpedoes. The Pensacola doesn't get any torpedoes, a pure gun cruiser. So, tier 6, Pensacola. Let's compare her to the Dallas, which has been introduced much later, and see how these two ships match up. As you can see from the little graph in the middle, they are extremely similar. Although I do think they've sort of messed that up with the guns there. But they both get the defensive AA1, which gives you 75% extra AA firepower. They both have very much the same hull. So yes, this is a light cruiser hull, just with 200mm guns on it. The Pensacola is a tick faster, the Dallas is a tick more maneuverable, and they both have 10 guns with 2 triplets and 2 twin guns. Obviously, the Pensacola has more oomph behind these guns because these are 203mm instead of 152s. Funnily enough, the Dallas has the advantage in range, obviously reload, and they both have more or less an identical set of secondaries, only that the Pensacola gets a couple more of them. The AA on the Pensacola is pretty comparable to what the Dallas has. Dallas has the advantage in the small caliber anti-aircraft guns, whereas the Pensacola has the advantage in the large caliber. And obviously the Dallas has a significantly better concealment, which is very, very helpful if you are in something that is as lightly armored as these things. The Pensacola's concealment is not very good, which leads to, in combination with the absolute lack or absence of armor to this ship, to explode rather catastrophically when being looked at the wrong way by anything with large caliber guns. So, what do? You're at tier 6, you've got a Pensacola. Well, you got 2 choices. You can improve the guns a little bit, or you can get yourself 2% more hit points, which isn't going to help you really. I would personally go with the elite gun operator, but you can also use cruiser modernization. The 5% extra AA is quite neat, and you do still get the main battery traverse speed, so it's 2% hit points and 5% AA versus 3% main battery reload. Now, the turret traverse is bad on these things, and that is something you'll find across the lines here. But that's why I am fitting the main battery mod 1 here instead of the main battery mod 2. Also, the turrets are on the squishy side, so you get them shot off relatively easily. And other than that, it's the standard setup of propulsion and steering at slot 3. So no surprises here. I have put a commander in here. You do want you do get. I'm going to actually show that. You do get, I think, with the New Orleans at tier 7. Yeah, you start getting the rapid reload at tier 7. So if you're going up this line and you've set up your commanders, then apologies for the helicopter outside. It's been circling around here for the whole day. I have no idea what it's after. You probably do want the fire supremacy skill for an additional rapid reload. And so just be aware that that's something coming in. I am using battlefield support for an extra defensive AA and the air defense expert, obviously. You can use the exploit weakness, or you can use the generalist. They're both valid choices. Fully prepared obviously makes sense, and further down the line you will want extinguisher, most likely, compartment maintenance, the demolition expert. Although there is an argument to be made for close quarters combat expert, although I think in tier 10 it's no longer going to be valid because you're not really going to be using it. You might be better off using the demo expert, especially if you can use that to knock out some modules and trigger damacons and similar things. You would most definitely want the APCS on these ships because 203mm American armor piercing is quite vicious, and yeah, you probably want to go with the horizontal protection then all the way at the end. But for the Pensacola, we're going to be sailing with this. This is tier 6, so you could, for some reason you were so inclined, maybe you're a fan, who never knows, you could get the historical camouflage, which gives you 4% hit points, the firing range, the large caliber AA range, and the ubiquitous but absolutely useless torpedo damage reduction. So that's something you could do, but I'm just going to play with the... I'm just going to say this is grind over territory, and you would like to get to the higher tiers of these cruisers. And as such, I'm going to fit the Seaborne Assault. All right then. So yes, Pensacola. A light cruiser with big guns, and to be played as such because it does not react very well to be shot at, but has a decent amount of these guns, with 10 all in all, and can dish out some punishment. The first round is a 4v4, and we are playing Bay of Storms against Black Bayan, Congo, a Rio, and a Yahagi. And I have completely forgotten what the Yahagi was capable of, but it's something Japanese, and it's a cruiser, so it's probably got torpedoes. Anyway, and yeah, I appear to be, well, me and the Black Bayan appear to be the only tier 6 players in this game. But let's go and get started. A Black Bayan is a pretty vicious thing, because as far as I remember, that thing gets rapid reload. So do not want, be very careful. Anyway, we are spawning on the right flank on our side. That's a bot Fubuki. And there's a Deathlinger. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the Deathlinger, to be honest. I did not enjoy that shit when I was playing, and I was quite glad when I could make it my way to tier 6 with the Makans, and that was much more fun. But obviously we don't want to rush ahead, but the Fubuki is going to, because he's a bot. So Fubuki's going to start spotting things. Now, 203mm guns. If you can use, you start with the armor piercing, and that is generally a good choice. Against destroyers at long range, cruiser caliber rules apply. So beyond 6 kilometers, fire the armor piercing. Under 6 kilometers, fire the high explosive. Okay, that's a bot Nicholas, but we're spotted and might as well shoot. I have nothing else to shoot at. So if I can hit him, especially if I don't hit him in the bow section, I shouldn't be over penetrating. But now I'm at 5 kilometers, so at this range, I am going to start switching to the high explosive. Because as you can see, I'm now starting to mostly over-penetrate that thing, but I think at this point he's already dead, so okay. That's one bot Nicholas down, and we have the Rio loaded. Now, battleship long range, HE spam is a good start, and we'll see. We get rewarded with a fire, and the Rio is not damage controlling the fire, so either the Rio doesn't know that he can do that, or he is much smarter than what you usually encounter at tier 6. So let's see if we can get ourselves a second fire going, and see if we can trigger him to damage control. And get, okay, that's 2 fires, and the first one has burned out, and he damacons the second one, so now we're in a 10-second counter, so this salvo is not going to set a fire, but any subsequent salvos can set a fire. And yeah, I would really like the Deathlinger to take the heat, and it looks like so far the Rio is actually shooting at the Deathlinger by the sheer fact that the Deathlinger is closer to him. and you'd be surprised how many players are targeting by proximity rather than by opportunity. But I am starting to overtake the Deathlinger, because I think I'm faster than that thing. And I'm not getting any luck with the high explosive, so I'm switching back to the armor piercing, because now I'm in a range where I think I can start making something happen. And now I am being shot at by the Rio, so I definitely do need to be careful. And we'll see if we can make something happen with the armor piercing here. But I do need to get bow in, because you do not want to give broadside to that thing, not in Pensacola. So very much jockeying. Yep, there comes the salvo from the Rio, but he mostly overshoots. So now he's dead, because before he's going to reload, I think that thing's got an awful long reload. So before he's going to reload, I'm just going to kill him with armor piercing, and he is now also in secondary range, so I can unload with these guns as well, which means the Rio is going to die hopefully before he can get a salvo off. I think I'm going to be able to get him down before that happens, and there he goes. Okay, that thing's dead. Which means we can start capping, which is, given that we're both down to four ships, probably not a terrible idea, because that enemy team is currently rushing our cap, and we have just lost the König to the Black Bayan. Told you that's a dangerous thing. But we are now capping, and I think we're about to see the carrier, so back to the armor piercing. I'm going to try and take some... Yep, there is the Zuiho. I should be the one taking the fighters. I don't have the defensive AA ready, but... not fighters, bombers. But it's no matter really. I just want to get to the edge of the capture circle, and we'll be unloading at the Zohu in the meantime. A Deathlinger as well. We've got nothing else to shoot at, but our carrier has died, so we're definitely behind on points at this stage. But we've started capturing early, so I think they've taken long enough not to get into the enemy into the friendly capture circle, that unless they come back and do something about us, we're going to win by capping. So Zuhio is about to die. I've got the defensive A ready. Deathlinger takes out the Zuhio. Deathlinger might not be staying in the capture circle, but There comes the incoming fire. So we do want to be careful here at long range, high explosive. They're now starting to cap, but what they haven't realized is that what they should have done instead is they should have all turned around. The Black Bayern is the only one who's got the right idea here. But he's a Bayern. He doesn't have a precise aim. It still hurts though. Ow. But he's on full hit points, but the rest of the team should have just gone here, because now we've capped them out and we've won. If they had turned around and just killed us, which wouldn't have been a problem, then we wouldn't have been winning. But anyway, mid-tier tactics, they can be quite funky at times. So, also this was a nice example of, at the beginning of the battle, find yourself a teammate and stick with him. So I've been escorting that Derflinger class battle cruiser the whole time. If there had been any destroyers, I would have been dealing with them. And he's been tanking and I've been shooting stuff, and together we've done good. Which brings us to my favorite map in mid-tiers, Golden Channel. It's center control, of course. This time we are on the bottom tier. So we are in a 6v6 against Ranger, Doria, Fuso, Trento, Gokase, and Nakatsuki. Gokase is... what was that? Oh, it's the Japanese light cruiser line. That's where it's coming from. So not many tier 7s, but there is a Ranger in there. And, well, we have a Sims. Let's see. You're not going to be shooting hundreds of planes down. Well, even if the carrier focuses on you, you may get 10, 12 or something, which is not terrible for tier 6. So definitely something you can do. Anyway, I'm going to head towards the capture circle because, that is just something you do. And we are spawning south. So there is a nice little ledge. If we had spawned north, I'd be sitting behind the island. But there's a nice little ledge so I can tuck myself in next to the island. Team calls out to stay in formation. I'm going on a limb here and see if it helps to capture the target area. And to my great surprise, the team actually agrees. Well, one of my teammates, and I'm saying thank you because there's such a rarity at this tier that people actually get the idea. So friendly carriers got the planes out, and I've got the defensive AA up. So we're not gonna kill the plane, shoot down the planes before they get in here, but we might take some down on the way out. There's the Akatsuki, so there will be torpedoes in the water. But again, at this range, armor piercing is the right choice. 8 kilometers. Let's see if we can get. He's going quite slow. There's also a Trento, so I do have to slow down already here because they're going to be. Yep, there come the Akatsuki torpedoes. And Trento is having the right idea, but I am having angles at him. So once a nice flat broadside from the Trento there is also the Gokase. That thing's going to have torpedoes away as well. Trento smokes up in his fuel smoke while standing still. To be fair, well, Gokase, you really don't want to be sitting still there broadside onto the full team. That is a terrible idea. I know you've got torpedoes, but you're in a light cruiser. This is not something you want to do. Yeah, he figured that out the hard way, but he's lost most of his hit points. And except for the Akatsuki torpedoes, I haven't really been shot at yet, which is very much appreciated. Especially, New Mexico. Oh, that's a bot. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the problem is I can't lock onto the Akatsuki. So I'm going to manual aim. As I'm not interested in the New Mexico at this stage. I am interested in hurting that Akatsuki if I can. And he is, I think, getting air spotted from the fighters that have been baited. So we may as well make use of that. And okay, he's moving forward now. So he is coming into the range where I need to start using the high explosive. But he's not paying any attention, so well, should have led a little bit more that one. And but now he is coming. Yeah, you had no exit strategy at that point, did you? So I'm not sure if he still has torpedoes away, so I'm going to slow down. But at point blank range, you want the high explosive. Back to the armor piercing against Trento. But we are holding the capture circle, and the enemy team at this round. Yeah, I feel you, buddy. You're doing the right thing there, but look at where your battleships are going. I mean, in Mexico's got an excuse. He's in a bot. But the rest of the gang does not. It really, really doesn't have any excuses. So, Sims, hello. I'm just passing by here. I'm just going to murder that, casually murder that Trento over there. He is going to get torpedoes away, probably. So, yeah, he is smoking up. So I'm reasonably certain he has launched torpedoes. Observe the there's going to be torpedoes from the Trento, just so you know, right? Yep, there they come. Observe the glacial speed of my turret traverse. But yeah, Trento has not understood yet that he can take his smokescreen with him. Shoots at the destroyer, which is much appreciated, because the broadside, because the salvo at full broadside. Okay, I don't want to steal your kill there. That Trento is very dead. So you take that one. Nicely done, Ernst Gede. And there's the Ranger. Hello, Mr. Ranger. But I am going to head over and actually help our carrier, who is running away from the enemy battleships that are circling around. And Ernst Gede can go and play with the Ranger. There's 2 destroyers and a battleship closing in on that thing. He dead. So I'm not needed over there. I'm going to head over and help the carrier and make myself useful on that side. But yeah, we've lost 1 ship, so no Ruffles don't meddle. But there is a full health Andrea Doria who's been sailing the long way around. Oh well. Don't underestimate American armor piercing. Yep, he's taken down the Mackinson. But don't underestimate American armor piercing. Andrea Doria has just damage controlled, but I am already in the run up and. Given that I still have full hit points because no one's been shooting at me in earnest, which I'm very thankful for, and I'm at close range, I am going to start. I'm going to stick with the armor piercing against the Andrea Doria. So let's time his salvo because we don't want to be blapped in the side with that thing. Not at this range. He's still going to hurt, but come on, get your. Is he looking the other way? Does he have the turrets pointed towards the Mackinson, and that's why he can't actually get them at me? That might be. Okay, the rear turret at least is coming around, and she is now smoking up. Not gonna help you. There comes the armor-piercing salvo. Takes half of my hit points off. That's fine, I've still got the other half. And your fuel smoke isn't gonna last very long. Yep, there you come. And he dead. Yeah. Should have turned the ship around instead of trying to turn the turrets around. Anyway, the Pensacola. It's not as bad as it often made out to be. Yes, the armor is dreadful, and battleships are going to make very short work of you, but you're in tier 6. And what I really like about the Pensacola is the opportunity of doing really, really nasty amounts of damage to enemy cruisers, especially light cruisers. There are some really fragile light cruisers at tier 6. There are things like Nürnbergs around there, or anything of the Pan-Asian line. That you can do really, really huge amounts of damage with, especially at closer ranges with the armor piercing. So it is a switch because you're coming off the gun cruiser, the torpedo cruiser, light cruiser line at tier 5 and 4, and you're now at a pure gun cruiser. But I like the Pensacola. I mean, I probably like her because it's tier 6 and everybody's just derping around. But use the armor piercing especially. It's quite good. You can still HE spam at long range at battleships and do some damage that way. But I'm enjoying the armor piercing on these things generally. So yeah, there you are. And that's it for me today. I will be featuring the rest of the line going up and doing proper reviews of these ships. So next up, we're going to be seeing tier 7, which I believe was the New Orleans. And we have also a Portland class heavy cruiser, the USS Indianapolis, which is quite famous. And as such, I can, which I think I've never featured. So I'll talk about the Indianapolis as well at some point. And we'll make our way through the American heavy cruisers while also keeping an eye on all the other things that I still need to do. So here we are. That's it for me today. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.